Hello all. Sorry for the delay. Few technicalities were there, so we're taking care of those things. So very good afternoon to one and all. So had your breakfast? Okay. I hope everybody would have cleared the prelims this time and will be writing mains, right? So ideally that will not happen. But the thing is that you have to move forward in your life. So irrespective of the outcome, I appreciate you all because you have taken that initiative to write the mains test series. So that is a very good way forward in your preparation. So with this, let's start the discussion of today. So today we will be having a orientation session on agriculture optional test series, and in general agriculture as a optional, how you have to prepare. That angle will also be covered in this. So just one second. So online participants, just click, just say something in the chat box so that I can know that you are present in the session. Nick, either alone. Okay, thank you. So in this session, essentially it will have two parts. In first part, it is mainly targeted to those candidates who are writing CSE mains this year, and the second part is for those candidates who are not clear of their optional as a optional subject, and also are planning to prepare for next year UPSC and IFS. So in the first part, for those who are writing CSE mains this year, I will be covering the importance of the main syllabus, why you have to go through the main syllabus completely, and next the practical difficulties which you are going to face while preparing and also in the examination hall, and also the trends in the last 2 years, how the UPSC is framing the questions and how it is orienting towards different government policies. Those things will be covered, and also the details of the test series will be shared with you. Like what are the things I am going to cover in the test series and what are the things which we are not going to provide in the test series. So after that, I will briefly explain how this initiative is going to help you guys. And after that, we will have an interaction session with Mrs. Lakshmi Priya Upadhyaya. Currently, she is working as ACF Odisha, and she was our last batch student. And she has scored 260 marks in last year's CSE mains. So in the next session that I will cover in the next part. So the 10% discount is valid up to 19th of this month. So do subscribe within those time limits so that you can get 10% discount. So with this, let's move to the discussion. Yeah. So why I have taken this slide is a very important thing which I have to emphasize here, because many students who come to me and they say that, sir, I have been preparing for 3-4 years and I have written let's say 2-3 mains, but the first thing they say is, sir, I have seen n number of times the syllabus, but many students miss those points which I have taken from the UPSC notification itself. So first point says that if the candidate's writing is not legible, easily legible, then there will be a deduction of the marks from the total marks, which otherwise you are going to get. So there will be penalty marks for bad handwriting, first thing. And second thing is, mere superficial representation of the knowledge is not going to get good marks for you in the examination. That I am not saying, UPSC itself has given. And another thing is that the orderly, effectively, and exact representation of the knowledge should be there. Just haphazard manner, if you are writing something, that will not going to give the marks. And also due economy of the words is important. If at all the question is saying, let's say you have to answer within the 150 words, then it has to be 150 words. Let's say when they will see that critically, when they will see the word limit is that you are writing irrelevant things in the answer, and it is crossing the word limit also, then there will be negative deduction for sure. Else also there will be a chance, but if at all it is not up to the demand of the question, then definitely there will be negative marks. So that is one thing. So this is the proof. I am not bluffing here, because see this is available in the Google also. If you Google the penalty marks in UPSC, you will get, see this, there is a negative mark of 25 marks. So 25 marks is deducted from his total marks. Just think, else if this marks was added to this, it would have been around 1000 marks. So 25 marks is determining whether he is in the list or out of the list. So this is not recommended. This candidate was not recommended because of the penalty marks. So be aware of these regulations which UPSC has given, and I will be sharing detailed UPSC rules and regulation in the Telegram channel, so you can once go through it. And after that, this is the point another point which I have to highlight, because there is a general consensus among the candidates that UPSC demands graduation level of the knowledge. Yes, that is true, but that is for law, medical and engineering optionals. For science subjects like agriculture and all those things, it demands a level higher than the BSc, but lower than that of the masters. So if you are thinking like, if I can write the answers up to the BSc level mark, it may not get you good marks because UPSC is demanding a little notch higher. So you have to a little bit do extra. So that extra what you have to do, that we will be emphasizing in the test series. So the outcome of this slide is that you have to know every word to word in the optional syllabus, because at times, many a times, the optional syllabus itself has become a question. For example, major irrigation projects in India itself has become a question in the UPSC optional. And also national dietary guidelines, which is given in food science syllabus, has become a question directly. So having the knowledge of entire syllabus in your mind word to word will help you in two ways. One thing, while preparing notes or while reading something, you will have clarity in your mind that I have to read only this much because this much has been given in the syllabus, first thing. And second thing is that when you are writing answers, you will be knowing that exact demand what is UPSC is asking from you. So it will be easy for you to construct the answers. So these two are the important things by knowing your syllabus. Okay, and another thing is that UPSC's syllabus and previous year's question should act as guide for you rather than depending on any coaching institutions for that matter. If you are very thorough with last let's say 10-12 years PYQs and also the syllabus, that itself acts as a guide for you. So our intention is not to make you dependent on any coaching center. Our intention is to make you independent, because at times when many students come to me, I always say the first thing many students doubt is that, sir, where to make notes, how to make notes. This will be the like if 10 students come, 9 students doubt will be this only. So for that I always have been saying that stick to the government sources. For example, let's say organic farming is there. You can read it from agronomy textbook also. You can read it from, let's say, Tamil Nadu, Angro, from anywhere you can read. But if you go to ICR website, there will be a organic farming document from ICR itself. So if you derive your content from the government sources, first thing it will be authenticate. Second thing is that there are high chances that the UPSC synopsis, which they are going to provide for the evaluators, would be derived from the government sources itself. So if your content is same as that of the synopsis, then just imagine how much marks more you are going to get. So that's why I always say depend on government sources rather than depending on any coaching center material. Okay. So let's see the practical difficulties which you are going to face in the while preparing and also in the examination hall. So this thing which I have derived from my experience and also from the many candidates' experience which they shared with me. The first thing while preparing for mains is that, sir, I am not sure of prelims. Should I start preparing now or should I wait for the result? So my question is that, let's say you are not going to clear. What you are going to do? You will be wasting time. Let's assume that you are going to clear. Then also you have to prepare for mains, right? Irrespective of the outcome, you have to start preparing for mains. So why waste that crucial period of 30 days? Because 30 days, let's say if you cover 10 themes per day, then you are covering almost 300 themes in 30 days. So that will give huge advantage over others. So don't waste the time. Think with respect to cost benefit ratio, because if you are allocating, let's say 5 hours for any particular theme, that should give you at least 20 marks in the examination. So you have to be very smart while preparing for the mains this time. That is one of the difficulty. Another thing is that, sir, I have not made complete notes. See, according to me, this complete notes concept itself is a utopian, because it is never going to exist. Believe me, I have been making notes since my graduation level. So that is to say around almost a decade I have been making notes. But till today, I can say that it is not complete, because it is never going to be complete. First thing you have to remove from your mind that I am going to complete entire notes. So if you are going to complete even 80% of the notes and you are going to have that 70% in your mind, that is more than enough for you to score at least 280 marks. Because that 20-30 marks, it depends on your presentation and structure and day of the exam, what you are going to write. All those factors matters. But if you are going to cover 80% of the syllabus and can remember 70% of them, then it is more than enough to clear. It is more than enough to score 280 marks. First thing. Second thing is that another group of candidates are such that, sir, I have made notes, but I have not read it enough. But I have just made the notes. I have never read it enough. So for them, what can they do is, See now there is almost like 100 days gap between now and mains. So 100 days gap is there. So one thing I would say is that stick to our timetable, which I have given in the test series, because that I have designed in such a way that by keeping extraneous variables and also time for your GS preparation and also the trends in the UPSC, those things I have kept in the mind and framed the timetable. So if you stick to that timetable, what happens is for 15 days or for 20 days, there will be one test. So if you can complete, let's say you are going to write agronomy test in 15 days. So you have made notes for agronomy, right? So let's say there is 100 pages for agronomy, the notes which you have made, and you have been reading it, and let's say another 2 days is there before writing the actual test here. So what you can do is that you have to revise up to let's say 2 days before the exam. In 2 days, just revise once again or twice again, and then write the test. Because what that gives you is that you will develop the confidence on your notes first thing, and you will develop ability. You will believe in your abilities, because once you write the answers and you are not getting good marks, then you will start disbelieving yourself. You may think like, I am not up to the mark. What marks I am going to get in the exam? So whether many candidates are there who have been scoring good. So all those things will come to your mind. So the thing is, revision is important. Rather than covering n number of topics, if you cover even 10 topics, revise it n number of times. That is the key here. Revision is the key. So that is one thing. And another thing is that there is another group of people who have been giving more mains and mains, but they are scoring, score is stuck around, let's say 260, 270, 280. Around this, they have stuck the score. But how to increase those, how to increase that score? That I cannot give universal answer, because each candidate is unique. Each candidate's answer writing challenges is different. So if I say universally, like if you do this, you are going to get 300 plus, that would be bluffing. So I am not doing that. So if a candidate is stuck at, let's say 260 to 270 and average marks is coming year after year in mains, just approach us. We will analyze your current level and where the problem is. So then we can build upon it. Okay. And what are the difficulties you are going to face in the examination hall? The first thing is that first question and fifth question is compulsory in the examination paper. So more than half on what UPSC does is, in first question and the fifth question, they will give purposefully 1 or 2 question difficult ones. For example, last year they have asked about quality protein maize. So many people agronomical practices to have quality protein maize. That was the question. So many students, what happened is they got panicked, because I haven't read about quality protein maize and I have been asked in the compulsory question. So what could have been done, or is what I would have done is that, see, quality, protein, maize. So 3 parts are there, right? Quality, protein, and maize. So in general, we know POP, package of practice for maize, right? So the thing is that we have to focus on, increasing the protein content in it. So the universal knowledge is that if we increase the urea fertilizer or N fertilizer, it is going to directly have impact on the protein content. So in general, if you had managed to write a package of practices for maize, considering that you are going to give N fertilizers or enriching practices, then at least you would have got 2.5 marks extra. Because I have seen many of my friends and seniors who miss by 2 marks, 2.5 marks, 3 marks without getting into the list. So each question, each marks matters very much. So instead of leaving blank, which I have given here, instead of giving leaving blank entire answer, if you have managed little bit of this much, you would have got around 2 to 2.5 marks. Because again, considering the rules and regulations of the UPSC, this is not mere representation of the superficial knowledge, because you know that what is protein and how it is going to impact in the maize. So that is how it is not superficial knowledge. And if you can manage this much, you will definitely get at least 2 to 2.5 marks, which is crucial. So that is one thing. And next thing is that, sir, I have read too much about a content, too much about a topic, but while in the examination hall, I couldn't retrieve those things. Why that happens is that because of lack of revision, first thing. Another thing is that you would have panicked for previous questions. Let's say, for example, QPM, quality protein maize, answered. And next question is that for a topic which you have read enormously, but because you panicked for the previous question, your brain will be in such a state that you will not be able to recollect those questions which you are at good. So what strategy could be done in the examination hall is that for those questions which you have adequate content, I have read n number of times, try to answer those questions first. And after that, strategically manage those questions where you have minimal knowledge. And in the end, those questions which you have to attend, because if it is compulsory, then you have to attend. Those questions could be answered in the last. So strategizing your that 3 hours is very important. So you have to visualize daily while writing mock test also, while being in room or while roaming here and there. Just have to visualize those things. I have been sitting in the examination hall and paper has been given to me, and there are, let's say, 5 to 6 questions which are unknown to me. So first thing, when the question is unknown to you, you have to think that same thing is happening to everyone, because you have to believe in your preparation. So I have read this much of time, and still I am not able to retrieve these content. Means many people will be facing the same thing. So after that, you have to move for the next question. So try to have these visualizations daily. It will going to help enormously in your minds. Okay. And the common wish which every candidate will going to have is that wish I had 5 minutes extra, which is not going to happen. But that 5 minutes extra, how you can get is that, let's say, for example, last year, biofertilizer question was asked in the forest service and also in CSC. So same question was asked like 4 to 5 times in our test series. So what that does is that you have answered already in the test series. So you have already structure in your mind, presentation in your mind, and what to present and what not to present. Everything is in your mind. So the time required to answer that kind of question is very less. So there you will get, let's say, per question you will going to get 1 minute extra. So that 1 minute will come to that 5 minutes in the end. So that how you can gain extra 5 minutes. So that is one thing. And last thing I have emphasized. Okay, so let's focus on the trends in the last 2 years. So due to the paucity of the time, I have taken paper 1 analysis here. So paper 2 analysis will be done during the test series time. So in paper 1, so this is the marks allocated to agronomy in 2020. And this is the marks allocated to soil science and soil water conservation in 2021. The major play which UPSC is playing is that either they will increase agronomy, weightage of marks, or they will decrease this part. And in next year, they have increased this part and they have reduced this part. But the crucial thing here you have to observe is this part. Because else in let's say pre-2020, this kind of economics and extension was not given this much of weightage. But from 2020, the weightage for economics and extension have been increasing. There is a logic for this also, which I will explain now. Because see, the current government is focusing more towards the doubling of the farmers' income, right? So in general, I will ask a question. So take it calmly. So in your opinion, what are the measures which government has to take, or as let's say agriculture scientist has to take to increase increase farmers' income? So in general, open question to all. How can you increase the farmers' income, or how can you double the farmers' income? Okay, one thing. Then okay, then sorry. Sure. Then good. Even low input, high output. Yeah, good. Okay. So the thing here is that you are answering in the micro level. Government cannot go into the micro level. They will analyze in the macro level. As one of the candidates said, it is going to increase the capacity building. How it is done? Through training. Training is extension. And also lab to land is very crucial, because there are n number of good research work happening in the labs, but it is not going to the field. So government has realized that, hence the questions are coming from these two parts to check whether the candidate is having that kind of orientation or not, whether he is ready to serve in the field or not. Because you can analyze, I am not bluffing, take just 2 years paper and try to analyze how many questions have been come from these two parts. You will be shocked. So this is very crucial thing. And major problem which students faces is that while preparing for extension and economics, sir, if I start writing answer or if I start making notes, there will be same content for everything. Because let's say if Atma objectives has been asked and RKVY objective has been asked, so objective there will be no much differentiation, because same content will be repeated. Then how can I bring uniqueness into the answer? So this will be the challenge while answering the extension and economics part. So that we will address. So that is one thing. So next thing is, new trends in 2020. As I said earlier also, the paper is getting aligned more on the lines of the government policies. So this is the example. Here 2 questions have come in 2020 and the government. One is on the act, another is on the rainwater harvesting. So the policy, the weightage of the marks is 40 year. Okay, the weightage of the marks is 40 year, and the paper is getting aligned on the lines of government policies. This is one of the crucial observations which you have to make. And another thing is that this is unique kind of question. 1 or 2 questions is coming. So just go back to the previous year papers and try to observe this kind of questions, because let's say uh, uh, you are a farmer's son or daughter, and you have exposed to different hardships of the farmer. That majority of us are having that kind of experience. But you would have observed this kind of scenario in the field. Like Indian farmers usually choose crops and their varieties based on the socio-economic aspects and resources at their disposal, critically comment. So first thing is that you would have observed this, but would have never thought of this. And also another thing is that majority of us, how we are upbringing in this society is that we always try to analyze the problems, but we'll never focus on the solutions. So this kind of questions actually ask you to be a solution seeker. So yes, this kind of thing is happening. How can you give the solution? That is one part of the answer. And another part of the answer, you can take a stand there. Yeah, this is happening or not, you can take a stand and then can explain, yes, this is happening because of so and so reasons. And because whether extension services are weak, or whether good quality input is not being given to the farmers, all those things will be analyzed. And then you have to give the solutions. So solution seeking ability should be developed. Even in GS also, the questions are more and more on the solution seeking rather than highlighting the problems. So this is one of the observations you have to make. And the next thing is, rather than this being a new trend, this has been a trend in the UPSC, that they tend to integrate 2 subjects. Here, the pollution and the afforestation, or else let's say agroecology and forestry have been merged. So in order to answer this kind of question, you need to have knowledge of both the subjects. But at the end of the day, you have to integrate both the things to address the demand of the question. So similar on these lines, I have a question in last test series, that is, wait. Yeah, explain the role of PRA, participatory rural appraisal method, in the era of satellite mapping. So you might have known PRA in detail, how it is going to help the farmer, or how it is, what it is done in the PRA method, but you have to interlink with the satellite mapping. So you have to analyze whether during satellite mapping PRA method is valid or not. If it is valid, what is the advantage it is going to give when compared to the satellite mapping? So this kind of analytical questions or application based questions have been repeating in last 2 years. So just have a observation in your mind while reading newspapers or reading Kurukshetra. Just think on the lines of the government. Yeah, this kind of thing is happening. How I can produce solutions to these things. Okay. So similarly in 2021, the marks allocated to the policies have been increasing. So there 40 marks was there. Here it is increased to 50 marks. So 10 marks have been increased when compared to the last year. But the theme has been continuing. The policies, the question on policies have been coming. And it will, in my gut feeling says that this time also it will be around at least 40 marks will be on the policies. So try to analyze those kind of policies where government is focusing and it is directly having impact on farmers' income. One thing. Another thing is it is focusing on extension and lab to land thing, and sustainability of the agriculture. So these kind of themes you have to keep in mind and try to analyze those kind of government policies, and that question might appear in this maths, and we will be doing that in test series also. Yeah, and those certain themes like, let's say, biofertilizers is there, and organic farming is there, precision agriculture is there. Even though that question has been asked in the previous year, it tends to repeat in the next year also. So don't take wrong signals from previous year paper, because since biofertilizer has been asked last year, there is no rule that it cannot be asked in the next year. So this kind of certain themes, because you have to understand the limitations of the examiner, because let's take the example of genetics. So to understand whether you know genetics or not, I should be able to test you on the knowledge of cell biology, because without knowledge of cell biology, you cannot understand the genetics. So my limitation is that when I am going to frame the question paper, I have to ask one question on cell biology, directly or indirectly. So if you analyze the previous year question paper, on alternate years, at least one question on cell biology is coming. So that is the limitation for him. So 15 marks already is in your pocket. So you have to maximize your revision there, and you have to be sure that if that question comes, I will answer within 7 minutes. So this should be your strategy. So yeah, as I said, due to paucity of time, I've just taken paper 1 trends here. Paper 2 analysis will be provided separately during the course duration. Yeah, the knowledge of optional agriculture optional also helps you in answering GS3 topics, because on an average at least 2 questions have been coming on agriculture part in GS3. So I have taken last year example here. So 25 marks from agriculture knowledge you can get from the GS3. Yeah. Now coming to the one of the important part of the orientation is that the details of the test series, what I am going to give to you guys in the test series. The first thing is that it is going to have 10 quality tests. Last time we had given 11 tests. This time I have reduced 1 test so that I can give more time for one-to-one discussion. Because the experience from last few years conduction of the test series is that the majority of the students who appeared this time forest service, who are going to appear for forest service interview, they have said to me like, sir, whatever the one-to-one discussions we had during that time, it helped immensely in the examination hall. Because if I give synopsis, you will read at once maximum or twice and you will keep it there. And if I had given, let's say 20 points in that, at the max you will be having 5 to 6 points in your head. But in one-to-one discussion, what happens is I will take individual question of each candidate, and I will try to explain them. Yeah, intro part is like this. It could have been made better in this way. And let's say if content is weaker there, you can get content from this so and so source. And I will be sharing the content in a Telegram channel, which will be created exclusively for those who subscribe for the test series. So there I will be sharing the content also, like not in model answer format, but if you refer those content, you will be able to get good content for those questions. So those kind of things will be done. So 6 sectional tests will be there and 4 full length tests will be there. And even this sectional test will be of 250 marks. So for entire duration of the test series, you will be having that simulation of the mains examination. Sorry, you will be writing for 250 marks totally. Okay. And test series will try to address those writing challenges which students are facing in the examination halls. Okay, and that questions are based on the theme areas and the trend analysis of the past few years. And one-to-one discussion, as I already mentioned, so one-to-one discussion will be crucial. So in order to give maximum time for one-to-one discussions, we have reduced 1 test and we have limited the intake of candidates this time, because let's say if number of candidates increases by a certain threshold level, I have to give at least 1 hour for each candidate for one-to-one discussion. So it would be difficult for me to complete that discussion before the next test. Hence, we have limited the seats to, this time. And how to make use of the current affairs and important articles from the newspapers, and Kurukshetra will be shared with you in the Telegram channel. And how to make those current affairs usage in your answers, that will also be shown to you. Sorry. And at the toppers copy, that is a test has happened, and let's say X candidate has scored highest marks when compared to all others. That copy will be shared to you in the Telegram channel, because this was the popular demand of the students of last batch. So we have included that here. And the test series is available in both online and offline module. So you can subscribe in both the modules, no problem. And mentorship access will be available for you guys till personality test 2022. So those who are writing mains this year, for them the mentorship access will be there till 2022 personality test. And evaluation is strictly done by faculty only, that is me only. And it will be given to you guys before the next test. That is the promise which you are going to make. So, okay. And the major queries have come from this, like, sir, what is mentorship and what is discussion? So as I explained earlier, in mentorship, it is more focused on giving you quality feedback and providing you guidance. Let's say, for example, you have made certain notes, or let's say you have written answers for previous year questions and you want it to be checked or analyzed whether it is up to the mark or not. Those kind of things will be done in the mentorship program. And in discussion, as I said earlier, one-to-one discussion will be there. I will take each question and I will analyze what is the wrongs in it, or what are the positives in it, and how you can value add, how can add the value to those answers, and how can you incorporate diagrams in it. All those things will be discussed in one-to-one discussion. Sorry. So honesty is the best principle, right? So I am giving you here that what I am not going to include in the test series here. So first thing is that, as I earlier also mentioned, the focus is to give value added feedback to you. Hence, we are not providing the model answers as such, but how the answer could be framed and how model answer should be. That we will communicate with you, and that will be shared in the Telegram channel also. So that is the one thing which are not included. The model answers or the synopsis as such is not included. And the intention, as I said earlier also, it is to make our experience handy for you guys, so that I can get quality time to share feedback with you. That is the main intention why we are not providing the model answers. And another thing is that if you refer last year orientation, I had taken 2 questions from paper 1 and paper 2, and I have explained what are the difficulties a candidate is going to face while answering the question. So you can refer there. So I have explained there that if I start making model answers, so that copy is going into the market. So it has to be up to the mark. Like, let's say, for example, watershed management question is there. Sorry, Rakesh. Yes. Let's say if a question is on watershed management is there. So if I have to give synopsis for you guys, then it has to be a qualitative thing and comprehensive thing. So in order to make it more comprehensive and qualitative, the content itself will be around 10 to 15 pages. So for question, it is 10 to 15 pages. Then just think that in 10 tests, there will be n number of questions and around 1000 pages will be there. So will you be able to revise all those things before the exam? So that is not possible. Hence, we are not providing it here. Okay. The final thing before the this thing interaction with the last batch student, how this initiative is going to help you to tackle the open-end questions. For example, let's say, let's take example of watershed itself. So the question is that explain the concept and working of watershed management. So this itself is the question. Or else, let's say if 15 marks question is there, this the word is that watershed management. So often these kind of questions have been asked in the optional. So how you are going to structure these kind of questions is difficult. So I will give you 2 minutes. Just try to frame, try to develop a framework. Like what will be the intro, what will be in the body, what will be in the conclusion. Just try to make a framework here, so that that difficulty which you are going to face will be simulated here. And after that, I will say how the structuring could be done in a better way. Okay. Just take 2 minutes and try to frame, develop a framework. Question is explain watershed management. Even online guys, please do it. So the thing is that just to frame the this thing structure, we are taking around 2 minutes. So in examination, all that luxury will not be there. First thing. And second thing is that in my philosophy, each answer should be treated as mini essays. Because in essays, what we do is we will try to explain the core argument in the beginning, and we'll develop different dimensions in it, and we'll try to interlink that, right? So same thing should be done in this also. So for open-ended questions, the philosophy would be to treat it as a essay. So the 50 marks question is there. As we know, there will be 15 pages to answer the question, right? So can anyone please read out what is the framework we have made? Yes.
Definition of watershed.
Yeah, please sit and tell. No. Yeah.
Then a diagram of a watershed.
Mm-hmm.
Then the need to conserve water or to manage the watershed, and how can we manage the watershed, and the benefit of managing and how can we share the benefits, and the practical difficulties in managing the watershed and the way forward.
Okay. Another one, please. Anyone? Yes.
Definition.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the advantages of what are the concerns in our
Okay.
government initiative?
Okay. Story. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the thing which stands out here is that to a degree there is what you say, haphazardness is there, because after definition you are going for advantages. So in between there has to be certain content which is missing out, and before going into that explaining what are the advantages or the concerns or government initiatives, there has to be a certain content which explains the core concepts of watershed management that is missing. So this is not the ideal thing, because a answer can be written in n number of ways. So this is one of the way I am going to tell, and this is not an ideal way. I mean to say this is not model thing. Okay, so I would have started by defining intro, but for this intro, I will take definition from Integrated Watershed Management Program document. because this is very important thing. Because as I emphasized earlier also, the synopsis which UPSC would have made would have taken the definition from standard government sources. So this will be the government source. So I would write the definition from this source, and after that I will write a diagram or flow chart. Sorry, bear with my handwriting because pen is not working properly. So after that I will write a diagram or flow chart. After that, see, watershed, there are certain principles. Principles and practices. So this is very crucial because this is the core of watershed management. What other things stand out from this watershed management will be explained as principles and practices. Again, this can be found in that document only. After explaining principles and practices, then you can go for, let's say, advantages and then concerns, government initiatives, and in the end, if at all there is an extension program which led to the success of watershed management in certain, let's say, dry land area or semi-arid area, that can be incorporated. So these are the things. And again, a Kurukshetra issue is exclusively on this topic. So there will be a topic oriented, that theme oriented Kurukshetra magazine issue will be there, and questions tend to come directly from those things. So I'll be sharing those Kurukshetra magazines also in Telegram channel. So the content will be derived from all those sources. So this is one way of answering the question. Okay, so this kind of things will be discussed in the test series as a whole. Yeah, so this is orientation for CSE mains. So next we will be having an interaction with Lakshmi Priya Upadhyaya. She is serving as ACF in Odisha, and she had scored 260 in last year's CSE mains, and she missed by 20-25 marks without getting into the list. That cutoff she missed by 20-25 marks. So she will be joining us now, and the interaction will be in such a way that in let's say 10-15 minutes she will be telling you guys what are the difficulties she faced and how she strategized her preparation for the 3 months during the mains, and how she managed GS and also optional simultaneously, and how can you overcome those psychosis in the examination. All those things she will be discussing first. After that, she will be taking questions. So if you have questions, you can definitely tell me. I will be conveying to her, because you guys are not having mics, so I'll be conveying to her. So she will be answering. So this is how the interaction will go. So I guess it will be around 30 minutes, the interaction. After that, I will be orienting to those guys who are planning to take that 7 months test series, and also who are wanting to have a strategy for 1 year complete preparation, because from now on to till next prelims, almost 1 year is there. So how you can phase your preparation with GS classes and also with GS preparation, or else few guys will be doing jobs. So how can you manage your preparation along with jobs? Those things I will be discussing in the next part.